Hey guys, I'm Meoang, and today we're going to learn about the Nurse. The Nurse is a high skill cap teleporting killer. By holding down the action button, the Nurse will begin to charge up her blink. When you let go, the Nurse will teleport forward in the direction you're facing, passing through walls and obstacles. The distance that she teleports depends on how long you held down the action button, up to a maximum. After teleporting, the Nurse has a brief window of time to teleport one additional time. After either of these teleports, the Nurse can attack once. After attacking, or after not attacking, the Nurse will be stunned for a somewhat considerable amount of time and her vision is blurred. This stun time is effectively longer when you choose to attack because the hit or miss animation will play before the stun. Because of her mobility, the Nurse has a much lower movement speed than the average killer. The Nurse is also notable for having the teachable perk, A Nurse's Calling, which is useful on many killers. As for how I'd rate the Nurse, I give her an A in meta strength and a B in fun. The Nurse is by far the strongest killer in the game because of her incredible mobility and her ability to completely ignore pallets and vaulting points. Played correctly, the Nurse is a powerhouse unraveled by any other killer. With that said, the Nurse is also incredibly difficult to learn how to play when compared to the other killers, and this acts as a sort of natural balance. The reason I only give her a B in fun is because I'm not the type of person who wants to play a difficult killer that often. I really enjoy playing her, and whenever I get into a good groove with her I feel really powerful, but sometimes I just want to relax and play an easier killer. The perk build that I currently recommend includes 5 perks, and you can choose which one to omit based on your playstyle. The perks I recommend using are Barbecue and Chili, A Nurse's Calling, Whispers, Ruin, and Shadowborn. Because the Nurse is so amazing at chases, her biggest weakness is actually finding survivors. We try to alleviate this weakness with these perks. Barbecue and Chili reveals survivors so you don't have to search for them. A Nurse's Calling reveals survivors you may have lost after hitting them. Whispers will let you know if a survivor is hiding nearby, and Shadowborn improves your ability to spot survivors. Additionally, because the Nurse's long self-stun blurs her vision, Shadowborn makes it a little easier to see what's going on while you're stunned. I personally run Shadowborn instead of Ruin because it makes playing her feel a little more consistent, but not everyone will feel that Shadowborn is necessary. As for add-ons, I actually don't recommend that you use any of them. Many of her add-ons affect her blink ability in some way, and this will just hinder your ability to practice and learn it. Once you're familiar with the Nurse though, you can try them out. Teaching someone how to play the Nurse is a little difficult because it really comes down to practicing her ability. Learn to develop muscle memory for how long you need to hold down the action button to travel different distances. For example, learn how long to hold it down to catch a survivor you're chasing, and learn how long to hold it down to just blink over a pallet. Just try not to get frustrated and accept that it will take a little while to get the hang of. Once you've adjusted to her blink ability, the hardest part of the game will just be finding survivors. Her slow movement speed means that you can't just cycle generators like normal, so take advantage of her blink ability as often as possible. If you're just searching around for survivors, blink whenever possible. For example, if you're checking a generator, blink as close to it as possible. You never want to walk when you could blink. With that said, don't be afraid to walk a little when you know a survivor is nearby. Walk around and try to spot them, then use your blink at an opportune moment to get a hit. When a survivor is running away from you in an open area, they will expect you to try to blink to them. They will likely turn around and run in a different direction as soon as you blink, so be prepared to follow up with a second blink. If it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to hit a survivor, don't go for the hit. Her stun time is significantly longer when you miss an attack, and it isn't worth the risk most of the time. What really makes her powerful and fun to play is that you can completely negate pallets and vaulting points. If a survivor drops a pallet or vaults over something, use your blink to get over the obstacle and hit them. This is almost always an entirely free hit, and there's nothing the survivor can do once they decide to drop the pallet or vault. Again, the only real trick to it is learning how long to hold down the action button. Lastly, sometimes survivors will try so hard to play around your blink that you can actually just walk up to them and hit them. Don't go for a blink you might miss when a normal hit would work fine. To summarize, use her mobility to develop a strong map presence and down survivors that you find. Take the time to learn how long to hold down the action button to blink the distance that you want. To demonstrate what I've gone over in this guide, I've included a full Nurse game that I played recently. Just don't judge too harshly, I'm not the best Nurse player. If this guide has helped you, or you'd like to learn how to play other killers or killer in general, consider subscribing. With this guide done, I now have a similar guide for every killer in the game, and I'll start to focus on more general concepts of playing killer well. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy the gameplay.